Hi, welcome to my video on review 3 on the unit of a circle, ellipse, and a hyperbola. And this review is on videos 21 to 28, and as in all my reviews, it's treated as a quiz, so this one will be marked at a 51. Here we go. An ellipse has a horizontal stretch of 8 and a vertical stretch of 6. So that means that the horizontal stretch is more than the vertical stretch. So the horizontal is the major, and this one, the vertical, is the minor. And the length is, if the horizontal stretch is 8, then it's 8 left, 8 right, so the length is 16. And the length of the vertical axis is 6 plus 6 is 12, or 2 times 6. So the major is the vertical? Nope. The major is the horizontal? Yes, but the length is 4. Nope. The minor is the vertical? Yes, and the length is 12. So C, if you have C as the correct answer, give yourself a mark. Draw the ellipse. Has a horizontal stretch of 2, a vertical stretch of 4, with a center 0, 0. So let's plot the center 0, 0 with a horizontal stretch of 2. So that's 2 right, 2 left, and a vertical stretch of 4 is 4 up and 4 down. So this is the ellipse. This is the graph that represents this info. Give yourself a mark if you have this drawn correctly. Number 3, state each. The major axis is horizontal and vertical. So this is the ellipse. This is longer here. So the major axis that's the horizontal line. So it's horizontal. And the length of the major axis that's a -6 to a 6. So that's 12 units. So if you have each of these, give yourself a mark each. State the transformational form of the ellipse. The transformational form is x minus h all squared over a squared. Add on. Y minus k all squared over b squared equals 1. If you have that written down, give yourself a mark. Now we have an equation of ellipse. Notice we have x squared and y squared. We have s and a over a squared b squared. The center is the opposite of what's in the brackets, so that's the center of the x is -3, and the center for the y is 2. The horizontal stretch, a squared, is 25, so that means that a is plus or minus 5. So the horizontal stretch is 5. B squared equals 36, so b equals plus or minus 6. So the vertical stretch is 6. And the length of the minor axis, well, this is a 5 and this is a 6 stretch. So the minor axis is the horizontal and the length is double the 5. So you double 5, you get 10 because it's 5 right, 5 left. And the length of the major is 12, double the 6, 6 up, 6 down. And you give yourself 4 marks, 1 for the center, 1 for the horizontal stretch, 1 for the vertical stretch, and 1 for the length of the minor. 10, 4 marks altogether. Total your page, and hopefully you'll have 9 out of 9. Let's continue. Number 6, the equation. State the equation of the ellipse in transformational form. Transformational form. Well, we have the center. The center of the ellipse is right here, 0, 0, and the horizontal stretch is 3 right, 3 left, so the horizontal stretch is 3. The vertical stretch is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so the vertical stretch is 5 because it's 5 up and 5 down. And so it's an x minus 0, which is just x squared. And we have the y is a 0, so it's y minus 0 squared is y squared. And the horizontal stretch is 3, so that's square, so that's a squared here, so that's a 9, that's a 5, so that's squared is a 25, and in transformation form has to be equal to 1. So If you have the center, you got to mark. If you have 3 for horizontal, 5 for the vertical, you got to mark. If you have this part correct, if you have this part correct, this correct, there's 6 marks in total for each of these. Number 7, state the mapping rule on the unit circle for the ellipse. Well, the center of the ellipse, again, is the opposite of negative 3, which is 3. The opposite of plus 4, which is a minus 4. The horizontal stretch is a squared is 100. So a is plus or minus 10. So the horizontal stretch is 10. B squared is 49. So B is plus or minus 7. So the vertical stretch is 7. So the mapping rule is x comma y. That's the unit circle. And we have the horizontal stretch is 10 times x plus 3. And the vertical stretch is 7. So 7 times y minus 4. Because whatever the center is, that's what the value of h and k is. And we got 4 marks. So if you have each of these correct like this, and you have x comma y unit circle map 2, then you get 4 marks. Find the equation of the ellipse in transformation form if the unit circle is transformed by this. So that means that's ax plus h. This is by plus k. So that means that the center is negative 1 and 2. And that means the horizontal stretch is 3. The vertical stretch, which is the b, the vertical stretch is 6. So the equation is x plus 1 all squared. And we'll do y is the opposite. Don't forget it's the opposite of these. So that's a minus, that's a plus, that's a plus, that's a minus squared. And the horizontal stretch is 3, so 3 squared is 9. The vertical stretch is 6. The vertical is on the y, so 6 squared is 36 equals 1. So, 4 marks. If you have this x minus 1 squared over 9, if you have y minus 2 squared over 36, 4 marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, has to be equal to 1. And total up your page, you should have 14 marks if you have everything right. Number 9. We have an equation again of an ellipse and the center of the ellipse. This, notice you got an x squared, a y squared with a plus sign is the ellipse because the 9 and 4 are different lengths. So the center is no brackets, so x is 0, y is opposite, which is 1, and a squared is 9. So that means the horizontal stretch is the square root of 9, which is 3 plus or minus, and b squared equals 4. So the vertical stretch is plus or minus 2. So the vertical stretch is 2. So let's plot what I do to get the vertices. The vertices are on the major. So I plot the center of 0, 1. So there's the center. I'll do the horizontal stretch of 3. So I'll go 3 right. And I go 3 left. And the vertical stretch is 2 from the center. So I go 2 up. And I go 2 down. And there's the ellipse. And the vertices are on the endpoints of the major axes. So that means this one right here is 3 comma 1. And this one right here is negative 3, 1. So that's the vertices. And the co-vertices are on the endpoints of the minor. So this one right here is x is 0, y is 3. And this one right here, x is 0, y is negative. I went 2. Oh, notice I went down too far here. Just corrected myself, so it should be this. That shouldn't be right there. There it is right there. 2 up and 2 down. I went too far. I went to the 3. So that's 0, negative 1. And you got a mark for each one of these. Again, the vertices are on the endpoints of the major, the co-vertices are on the endpoints of the minor. Number 10, state the transformational form of the ellipse if the vertices are negative 1, 3, negative 1, negative 7. The co-vertices are negative 3, negative 2, 1, negative 2. Again, what I do is I plot and I can see it better. So negative 1, 3, x is negative 1, y is 3, right there. And negative 1, negative 7. 2, 4, 6, 7, right here. Make sure, 2, 4, 6, 7, okay. And negative 3, negative 2, x is negative 3, negative 2, right here. And x is 1, negative 2. So this is the ellipse. And again, you just got to be careful. And now when I get that drawn, then I draw the vertical axis, like that. Draw the minor axis, or the horizontal axis. Horizontal axis minor because it's shorter, vertical axis major. So the midpoint of the midpoint of the horizontal or the midpoint of vertical is going to be the same. So the midpoint of, if you take negative 1, 3 and negative 1, negative 7 and get the midpoint, so the midpoint is the sum of the x's, x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2, and you can see that we have negative 1 plus negative 1 over 2. This is x1, y1, x2, y2, and we have 3 plus negative 7 over 2, and that's negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. That's negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So that's the midpoint of the vertices, or the midpoint of the co-vertices. There's the midpoint. So the center is negative 1, negative 2. And the horizontal stretch is 2. Because it's 2 right, 2 left. And the vertical stretch is, and you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the equation is the opposite, x plus 1 squared. Opposite of minus 2 is y plus 2 squared. And the horizontal stretch is 2, so we have the squared. And the vertical stretch is 5, which is with the y, so we have the square 25. And we get equals 1. The transformation form has to be equal to 1. And we have 6 marks. So if you have the midpoint, which is the center, you get a mark. If you have the horizontal stretch, you get a mark. If you have the vertical stretch of 5, you get a mark. If you have this part of the equation correct and this part correct and equal to 1, 6 marks in total. And if you have 4 for number 9, 6 for number 10, 10 total. And let's continue. Change to general form. The general form of an ellipse is ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. And that's the general form. So to get that form, we have an LCD of 4 times 9 is 36. So we'll multiply all parts of the equation by 36. That way we have no fractions. 4 into 36 goes 9, so we have a 9x minus 3 squared. 9 into 36 goes 4, so we have a 4y plus 2 squared. 1 times 36 is 36, so PEMDAS will work out. The brackets are already simplified, so we do the powers, so we'll square first. We get x squared. Product is negative 3x doubled is negative 6x. Negative 3 squared is 9. Again, we do the squaring. Y times y is y squared. Product is 2y doubled. Product is y times y is y squared. The product is 2y doubled is 4y. 2 squared is 4, 36. Now I'll multiply by 9, and I'll get, and I'll multiply through by 4. In the general form, I put it in the order of 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 54x plus 16y plus 81 plus 16 minus 36 equals 0. So I have 9x squared plus 4y squared minus 54x plus 16y. And when you add all that up, you get a plus 61 equals 0. Notice I moved 36 to the left side and made it negative. So there's the general form. So if you have this equation here, you get 1 mark. If you squared it out correctly, you get another mark. If you multiply it by 9, you get another mark. And if you simplify the equation to the right order, you get another mark. 4 marks in total. Number 12, change to transformational form. Transformational form, we're used to that. Again, the transformation form is x minus h all squared over a squared, y minus k all squared over b squared equals 1. That's the transformational form. So that means we have to group the x's. So we got a 4x squared minus 24x plus 25y squared plus 250y, and that equals negative 561. Now I got the x's grouped to the general form. The general form this is the general form, so I had to group the x's to complete the square. So I'll take the 4 out, which is common. 4 into 24, that's a 6, my mistake, gotta be careful. Okay, that's done. I'll take the 25 out as a common factor. And 25 into 250 is a plus 10y. So I just factored the 4 out to have a 1x squared, and I factored the 25 out to get a 1y squared. Now I complete the square. So I'll take a half of negative 6 is negative 3 squared is 9. As a result of putting 9 in here, to get a perfect square trinomial, I have to go 4 times 9 and balance, get 36. Right here, I get a half of 10 is 5. 5 squared is 25. To complete the square, 25 times 25 is 625. And as a result, I have 4. This is a perfect square trinomial, so the factorization is x minus 3 squared. Because I completed the square, half of negative 6 is negative 3. I have a 25, and a y squared, that's a y. Half of plus 5, plus 10, sorry, is plus 5, all squared. And that adds up to be, to give you 100. Check with your calculator. Now, because I have 100, I want a 1, so I'll divide by 100. And 4 into 100 is 25, so I got x minus 3 all squared over 25. And 25 and 100 goes 4, so I got a y plus 5 squared over 4. And 100 divided by 100 is 1. Transformational form. So we have, if you have this line right here in the grouping, give yourself, let's see, I got 5 marks. So if you grouped them right here, and if you did complete the square here, you got hit mark. If you did the factoring as far as right here, so there's 2 marks for this step because I I did the factoring of the x squared minus 6x plus 9 here, and then I divide it by 100, so it's 2 marks for this one. And if you have this mark, so there's the 5 marks altogether. So if you have the final answer, just give yourself 5 marks. Now, number 13, state the domain and range of, again, this is an ellipse because you got an x squared, a y squared with a plus, and you got different lengths here. That's a squared is 9, so a is plus minus 3, horizontal stretch is 3. B squared is 4, so the horizontal stretch is 2. So, let's get the center. What I do, I plot it. By plotting it, I can see what's happening. The center opposite of minus 2 is 2, and the y coordinate is 0. The horizontal stretch, a squared is 9, so a is plus minus 3, so the horizontal stretch is 3. And b squared, right here, b squared is 4, so the vertical stretch is square root of 4 is 2 plus minus. So what I do is I plot the center of x is 2, y is 0. There's the center. The horizontal stretch is 3, so it's 3 to the right and 3 to the left. The vertical stretch is 2 up, 1, 2, 2 down, and there's the ellipse, oval in shape. So what happens if you take this point right here? This point is, I got that's supposed to be a plus there. I got a minus. Minus is here, plus is here. So this point here is 5, 0, and this point right here is -1, and y is 0, and this point here is x is 2, y is 2, and this point here x is 2 and y is -2. So your domain is the x, so your domain is the x's go from -1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 5, where x belongs to the reals. And your range is the y values, and the y values go from -2 to a 2. So -2 less than or equal to y less than or equal to 2, and again belongs to the reals because we have all the values of x between -1 and 5, including -1 and 5, and all the values of y between -2 and 2 are in this graph. It belongs to the reals. So 2 marks if you have this one, 2 marks, mark for domain, mark for range. And that gives us 11 on that page. Go to that page. And one more question. Solve the system. And again, we have an ellipse. We got an x squared, a y squared with a plus sign. And the horizontal stretch is the square root of 4, which is 2. And the vertical stretch is square root of 1, because that's understood to be a 1. So it's an ellipse, and this is a line. So let's call this equation 1, and this equation 2. So let's take equation 1, which is the line, and we'll solve the equation of the line. Notice the power of x and y is 1 and 1, so it's linear. So we'll solve the equation for y. So the x moves over to become negative, 2 moves over to become positive. Divide all terms by -2, so y equals half x minus 1. And we have the equation x squared over 4 plus y squared equals 1. And the LCD, we have a fraction, so the LCD is 4. So I multiply all parts of the equation by 4. 4's cancel, and I get an x squared. And 4 times y squared. And 4 times 1 is 4. So what I'm going to do is take this equation, which is solved for y, and sub it into the ellipse. So I got an x squared. So y is a half x minus 1 squared equals 4. So I have all x's now. So I'm going to solve this out. for x, so x squared, 4. So a half x times a half x is 1/4 x squared. So we have a half x times -1 doubled. So that's the 2's cancel. So I get a negative x. The 2's cancel out and I get a negative x. And -1 squared is 1. So I did the square first. Now I'll multiply by 4. 4 times 1/4 is 1. 4 times negative x is negative 4x. 4 times 1 is 4. And I want to simplify. I got a 4 on each side, so I cancel them. So I have a 2x squared minus 4x equals 0. And because I have a quadratic, which is x squared, I'll see a factor of 2x is common. So 2x squared divided by 2x is x. Negative 4x divided by 2x is negative 2. So we got 2x equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0. Divide by 2, x equals 0, and x equals 2. So we got x equals 0, so let's write down the equation y equals a half x minus 1, and we're going to sub x equals 0 in. So x is equal to 0, half times 0 is 0. So when x is 0, y is -1. This is the line intersecting the ellipse, and we got x equals 2. The equation is a half x minus 1. So x is 2. A half of 2 is 1 minus 1, which is 0. So x is 2, y is 0. So that means the line intersects the ellipse at 2 points. And if you took these 2 points and worked out this equation, you would find out these 2 points make both of these equations true. So you can sub both of these points into this equation and you'll get to be true. That's just a check. Now we have 7 marks here. So if you did this equation, you get a mark. If you got this equation, you did a mark. If you subbed it in and worked it right down, and you got it down to right here, you got a mark. And if you got the 2 of these, you got a mark. And if you worked out the 2 of these, you got 2 more marks, 7 in total. 7 for that page. So if you go back to the beginning, total of all your pages, go back to the beginning, you have a mark out of 51, put the mark over, score over 51, divide 51 into this number, numerator, get a decimal, and move your decimal 2 places to the right to get your percent, and hopefully your score was perfect, 100%. If not, go back and look at some of the videos to see where you, or go back and review your mistakes. And if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video is of some help to you in reviewing the videos from 21 to 28. Bye-bye.